Hey, I am Erin,
Jenny.
and we're Revisions Mentor. And today we are going to discuss some of the aspects of having a partnership in business.
Okay, so this is a question that we've been asked. How does it work? How does our partnership work? Where should we start? Where do you want to start with this?
I don't
It
know.
works well. We should establish that.
It does. It does work really well. And the reason that it works so well is because we really didn't know each other that well going into this, right?
No, no, we didn't. We were I think friendly acquaintances
Yeah.
probably at
Yeah.
that point.
And we
And
had a whole lot in common.
mhm,
Um, and then it seems that the longer we've spent together, the more we've discovered how different we are as well in terms of our style and in terms of the way kind of our minds work. And it works really well, kind of yin and yang, right?
we're very yin and yang in terms of design. Personality wise, I think we're very similar, but design wise, we're totally yin and yang, which makes it really fun when we're doing our projects. I think you bring some really cool perspective to the table when we're, kind of problem solving and figuring out design. I love your cool coastal aesthetic, and mine is 180 degrees different from that. And
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what makes it work, right?
yeah,
Like if
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
kind of we put our pieces together, and you've taught me a lot, you've grounded me a lot in terms of not going so coastal, beachy all the way, just because it's what my personal preference is. But you've also taught me a lot about, finding balance and adding life and using plants and green and
Yeah.
other things to give,
Yeah.
give life to a room.
Yeah, yep, that stuff works so well. And your personal aesthetic speaks to our market, right? That's what's so perfect about it, because I would tend to go, more earthy with it. And the truth is, we live in a coastal community. People want, that cool coastal look, and bring that really, really well, quite frankly.
We do. We do. We've got it down to an art. So what are some of the characteristics you would say when finding a business partner? What would you say are some of those critical characteristics that would make it work in a partnership?
First and foremost is the communication. You
Right.
know, you have to be able to communicate really effectively with somebody, and that means being able to be direct about what you want, being direct about what you need, and um, not afraid to say what you need to say,
Mhm.
and to have, sometimes difficult conversations. I don't think you and I have really encountered, situations where we've had to have difficult conversations, but um, directness matters. I mean, it's how we keep things easy.
Going right, it keeps things going smoothly,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, I
yeah,
think having that kind of relationship where we can be completely honest with one another,
yeah.
and feelings aside, like, this is a business, let's do it the right way, and we can express that, but we're also both very careful and genuine, and we know that it always comes from a place of love. So
Yeah,
it's kind of easy, right? we
it is.
and we've
It is.
established that early on.
Yeah. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Okay.
Imagine that. We balance each other in terms of, there are days when I'm just like not able to get it together, and you're, spot on. And there are days when you're struggling and I can kind of toe the line. So I think that we're really mindful of each other as human beings, and
Yeah,
that makes a difference too. And our biggest joke is, it takes both of our brains to get this one job done, and it does.
it
It
does.
really does.
It does, absolutely. For us, it requires both brains to
Mhm.
stay organized and to not show up on a job site unprepared, and
Yeah,
it saves a whole lot of time.
it
So
does. And
yes.
you know what else, Erin? We kind of have this. We sort of had this organic, like, way of splitting up some of the responsibilities. I mean, we never sat down and said, okay, I'm going to be responsible for this, you're going to be responsible for that. It just kind of sort of happened. And
Felt
sometimes we pitch that back and forth. But
yeah.
I think you kind of gravitated towards the stuff that, you're super good at, which is the organizational pieces and kind of the systems and definitely the technology. And then
Yeah,
I
and
kind
then
of,
you take the reins with a lot of the one-on-one stuff that I
yeah,
have limitations in terms of my schedule because of, kids and craziness. Lack
yeah,
of,
and that's been super good, having the different, roles and responsibilities that have kind of evolved over the last couple of years. I mean, it works out well. And then, I mean, the honest to God truth is you guys travel like crazy and I travel a lot too. And
yeah.
so, we can both, I can be gone for a while, you can be gone for a while, and we can still sort of pitch the responsibilities back and forth and
Yeah. Just
figure that out.
toss the ball. Yeah, it's a matter of organization and just knowing that we can count on one another tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a really important part of this is that we started out, and thankfully we were both in a position where we were like, we're doing this because we want to do it and
Yeah.
because we like doing it, and we didn't have so much pressure to succeed in the beginning, and that kind of created this formula that we decided that if when it's not fun anymore, we stop, and when we don't like the work, we don't do it. So yeah, and one of our questions from our viewers was about our exit strategy. And we don't really have an exit strategy, but we have an underlying agreement, right? That
We
like,
do.
yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
when this isn't fun anymore, when this becomes like arduous and laborious and not fulfilling, then we're out because
Yeah.
life's too short for that.
That's our plan. That's our exit plan. Our
Sorry,
exit plan is no exit plan.
our exit plan is no exit plan.
Mhm. And you know what? I was just thinking about how this started, and I'm not sure how it happened, but you called me and said you want to come over and help me decorate the outside fireplace for the Christmas tour. Your home was on the Christmas tour that year,
Yeah.
and I think we cracked open a bottle of sake and went to town on the outdoor fireplace and had so much fun and looked at each other. And I think you actually said, do you want to do this?
Yeah.
Do you want to do this with me? And I think I said, yeah, I want to
Yeah.
do this with you.
Yeah, it really did. It was awesome. It was like a magical moment because we do work really well together, and we have so much fun. And I think another important part of that might be sound business advice for other people is that we don't really socialize. Like we get along
Yeah.
beautifully, and occasionally we have a lunch date. But you have your circles and I have mine, and we don't really get together outside of work because when we're working, we're working.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's kind of hard sometimes, but the truth is, I mean, when it comes to business, it's not personal.
No.
So keeping business and personal separate is important. And I mean, there's no doubt that we have tremendous love for one another. We're friends, but socializing is a little different. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we're both kind of coming to this business together with really different backgrounds in terms of what we were doing, and also different, perspectives in terms of design.
Yep. Yeah, and it kind of meshed together really well. And again, it goes back to that critical component, which is being a good communicator.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can see things very, very differently, and in some ways that works. In many ways that works beautifully when you have different backgrounds because everybody brings something unique to the table, and just having that mutual respect. So so that we can express
Right.
how we feel.
I love how it works. I love how it actually literally works when we're on a staging gig.
Yeah.
And I have my head where the furniture is gonna go. And then you come in with wait a minute, why don't we put the couch here? And it totally throws me and it makes me laugh every single time. We never have the same plan. What's so cool about that is I feel like every time we do it, it opens my mind to, okay, that never occurred to me to do it that way, but I love it. And I compromise my vision a lot, and I know you compromise your vision a lot for like the greater good. And that's that's the beauty of you and I as a team.
Right.
We are really good together.
Right.
So when I say compromise, I don't mean that as a negative. I mean,
Yeah.
It's me saying, okay, let me be open to a different way of doing this.
Yeah.
And you doing that too. And then what comes out of that, our joint effort, is really cool.
Yeah, it's really something we're both thrilled with. Yeah, and what's really funny is the biggest thing we've ever disagreed about is the placement of a couch.
Is that true? It always comes down to where the couch is going, doesn't it?
Because it's like it sets the whole room up. But then, in terms of our aesthetic, we're very clear. We have a very clear vision that we've kind of landed on over time through process of of trial and error, and seeing what works in photography and what doesn't, and and just learning over the years what lines of furnishings give the lifestyle that we're trying to convey. And now that we've honed into that, we're both really settled into that, that the pattern and the aesthetic that we're both really pleased with.
Right.
So,
and I think we both do a good job of reining each other in when it comes to, because I think as home stagers, it's easy to go down the road of, this is my preference, or this is what I would do if this was my space. And so I think we're constantly reminding one another of, this is staging. It's not about my preference or your preference. It's about, speaking to the demographic that we're building the space for. Right. It's about looking at the neighborhood, who's coming this way, who's going to be looking potentially in terms of buyers. Right. We rein each other in. We rein each other in on that.
Yeah. And I think the more of a clear picture you have of that, of the demographic, and who we're, who's going to have their lens on this project, then the easier it is. It's not about us anymore. It's about them.
Right.
So yeah, and I think we've really we've honed in on that skill set to kind of put our our own preferences aside and let it
because
work.
sometimes we're even using things or doing things that are not our own personal tastes.
No.
We know that we've got to create space. Like maybe in a foyer, I know you would love to build a really beautiful gallery wall in that space. Yeah. But for practical purposes, we end up choosing a really big piece of art, just to get just to visually get a potential buyer's attention.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're learning how to work with what's available to us, and then making our inventory, kind of building it around this understanding. So, yeah. So another question that we got is, how do we pay ourselves and how do we split the profits? And that's pretty simple. We pay our overhead, we split the profits right down the middle. So yeah, pretty cut and dry.
It's that cut and dry.
That is. So do us a favor and click on the link below and sign up for our email list, and we'll send you some home staging checklists that'll help you keep yourself organized in your staging business. And hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, and we will provide you with as much information as we can as you get your home staging business off the ground and running.
Thanks for listening. Let us know what you want to hear from us. This is our question of the week. Topic forum. So ask us stuff and we'll give you answers.
That's right. And bear with us as we work out the kinks in our new digital age of technology. As we all of our lives have changed very dramatically. So bear with us as we kind of work around working remotely and not being able to see one another to make these videos. Yeah. Stay healthy.